Have you ever taken a deep breath and wondered, where does this air even come from? Every time you breathe, oxygen fills your lungs and keeps you alive. But have you ever stopped to think about how this oxygen ended up in our atmosphere? Was it always here? Did it just magically appear one day? Or was it created somehow? Today, our little yellow chick is going on another exciting journey to solve an invisible mystery, the origin of the air we breathe. Let's start with a shocking fact. More than 3 billion years ago, Earth had almost nitrogen monoxide oxygen in its atmosphere. The sky looked orange, volcanoes were constantly erupting, and the surface was filled with toxic gases like methane and carbon dioxide. Not exactly a place you'd want to go on vacation. If you tried to breathe back then, you wouldn't last even 1 minute. So how did this deadly world become the oxygen-rich planet we live on today? The credit goes to some of the smallest, most powerful life forms in history, cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, even though they looked like slimy goo floating on water. Around a point 4 billion years ago, they started performing photosynthesis, converting sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into energy while producing oxygen as a waste product. Yes, that's right, the oxygen that keeps humans, animals, and even our little chick alive today originally started as slime waste. These ancient microorganisms may not have looked heroic, but they single-handedly changed the entire planet as they multiplied across lakes and oceans. They kept releasing oxygen for millions of years, and slowly, the oxygen in the air built up. Scientists call this event the Great Oxygenation Event, and without it, oxygen-based life like us would not exist. Fast forward to modern times. Where does our oxygen come from today? Many people think it comes from trees and forests, and while that's partly true, here is a surprising fact. Over 50% of the oxygen we breathe comes from our oceans. Oceanic plankton, tiny plants called phytoplankton, seaweed, and other marine life perform photosynthesis, just like trees. Every day, they pump oxygen into the atmosphere, quietly working beneath the waves. The other nearly 50% comes from land-based plants, trees, grass, crops, and even tiny moss. The Amazon rainforest alone produces around 20% of Earth's oxygen. So yes, plants are real-life air factories, constantly generating fresh oxygen for all creatures on Earth. Let us understand photosynthesis in the simplest way. Plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air and water from the ground. Using sunlight as energy, they convert these into glucose, their food, and release oxygen as a byproduct. It's like if you cooked dinner and accidentally filled the room with fresh oxygen. While you probably can't do that, plants do it all day long. Now here's something fascinating. Oxygen isn't just important for breathing. It helps protect the planet. Oxygen combines with sunlight to form ozone in the upper atmosphere. This ozone layer acts like Earth's sunglasses, blocking harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun. Without it, life on land would be nearly impossible. But here's a question. If oxygen is so essential, could we ever run out of it? The answer is yes in theory, but not anytime soon. Human activities, like deforestation, burning fossil fuels, and ocean pollution are damaging our oxygen-producing systems. For example, Cutting down massive areas of forests reduces land-based oxygen production. Also, global warming affects the ocean, making it harder for plankton to survive. If these sources weaken over time, oxygen levels could slowly drop. Don't panic yet, it won't happen tomorrow. But it's a reminder of how precious our planet's natural systems are. Now let's go back in time for a moment. When cyanobacteria first started producing oxygen, this gas actually poisoned many of the early life forms that couldn't survive in oxygen-rich environments. So while oxygen created the opportunity for new life to evolve, it also caused one of Earth's first major extinction events. In a strange way, oxygen was both a killer and a creator. Today, it allows humans and animals to survive because our bodies use oxygen to convert food into energy through respiration. Without oxygen, our cells couldn't function, and within minutes, we would collapse. That's why planets like Mars and Venus, which lack breathable oxygen, are currently uninhabitable for humans. Now imagine if oxygen suddenly disappeared from Earth for just 5 seconds. What would happen? All combustion would stop, no engines, fires, or even phone batteries working. Sky colors would change instantly. Your eardrums would explode due to pressure change. And everyone would pass out. Luckily, that's not likely to happen unless the plants go on strike. So what have we learned today? Oxygen didn't start with trees or forests. It began with tiny bacteria billions of years ago. Today, about half of oxygen comes from ocean plants and half from land plants. Oxygen keeps us alive, protects us from radiation, and helps power everything we do. But it also reminds us that Earth is a delicate system that needs protection. Finally, let's check in with our yellow chick. After learning that the air he breathes came from ancient slime, ocean plankton, and trees, he takes a slow, thoughtful breath, then dramatically says, "So every time I breathe, I'm inhaling prehistoric algae farts." He stares at the camera, wide-eyed, then shrugs. "Well, at least it tastes better than seawater." Don't forget to hit subscribe and stay curious. See you in the next episode.